Greetings, it's Alexander Vanguard and you're locked into UK Full Stop on Westside Radio.
If you've just been locking in and you've been checking out things, you know, social media wise and everything else, and you're kind of wondering who this gentleman is, now he's been doing this thing for a long time. He's been doing this thing for a very, very long time, and you know, he's inspired the likes of myself and many, many others out there. Get me? And he's been repping West London for a very long time. He is a wordsmith through and through. Man, he goes by the name of Alexander Vanguard. What's going on, man? You good?
Greetings. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm good, man. I'm awesome.
It's good to have you here, man.
It's good to be here, man. It's good to see you doing what you're doing, and yeah, it's a privilege to be a part of this.
Thank you, man. All right, cool. So, I mean, boy, where do we actually begin, man? Like, for those who need to know, because obviously you're a solo artist and you've branched out and you've kind of done something completely new and fresh. Who is Alexander Vanguard?
Great question, man. I'm a husband.
Yeah.
I'm a father.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a son.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an artist. But Vanguard is like a movement as well. Do you know what I mean? I think it's really important that people know that I'm just trying to establish something that's different in the industry. You know, you just hear so much negativity and very little hope. And for me, this is like a hope movement. Just presenting something different to the scene. So yeah.
Cool. And in terms of like your background in terms of, you know, musically and just how you got into the game, I've just kind of I heard you, it must have been like 2001, 2002 or something like that.
Wow.
Like you've been spitting for a long time.
Yeah.
And what actually I didn't know, because obviously, like, I know you, you know, your musical history and everything else, but what I didn't know is you were in a duo before. Called, what was it, Set Apart? Yeah. So you obviously back in the day.
Yeah.
So
that's deep. That's depth right there.
Yeah. That's deep. So was that where you started making music, and what kind of inspired you to want to make music?
Yeah, that literally that was me coming out of the door musically. Literally, a good friend of mine, shout out Prince.
Big up Prince.
We grew up in church together and literally loved music, and we were just trying to find an outlet to do it. So, you know, I loved rap and just trying to figure out how to do it. So we just kind of used to mess about on the instruments at church. We could sneak in, and we got the key, and we just mess about and just try stuff. So that's where we came from, and just started doing stuff in school and just local spots, local youth spots and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was literally like the start of the whole journey.
Sick. That's sick, man. So like on UK Full Stop, we kind of do this thing of greatest to the latest. We champion that, and you know, we're just trying to show the full spectrum of, you know, what UK, I don't like to use the word urban, but is what is UK urban music, you know, whether that be R&B, neo soul, grime. There's so much. Yeah. So if you can tell me one artist or act, you know, from the past, UK orientated, that maybe inspired you. It didn't necessarily have to be the reason why, you know, you're here right now, but just something that you loved UK wise.
Wow. UK from the past. Like, I mean, it's funny because growing up, like, listening to hip hop, there wasn't a lot of UK people doing it back then. Do you know what I mean? This was before the days of grime as well.
True.
So yeah, I mean, there was a few guys who were kind of, I guess, on the scene, but there was nobody that, like, there was no one person I'd say that really inspired me. So it's really difficult to say, but
it doesn't have to be hip hop. It can be, you know, R&B. It could be garage.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess inspiration is kind of
I mean, like, inspiration wise, like. You know, there was a few guys, like there was a guy called Funky DL, who was, again, like, just very underground. He got some UK play, like, you know, shows like this. There was another guy called Lewis Parker,
Okay.
And all these guys who were just like, again, you probably, I don't even know where they are now. You know, I think some of them are still making music.
Yeah.
Another guy called Black Twang.
Oh yeah, Black Twang. Yeah. I played Black Twang on here.
Yeah. So those kind of guys were like the only UK guys really doing stuff, and it was inspiring to hear them like holding their own in the midst of you know, the US scene being predominant. So
yeah, it's quite interesting actually, because with the Mobos was what, like 2 weeks ago or so, and it's changed a lot in some ways, and in other ways it's still the same, but like Black Twang was actually the first winner of the, I think it was Hip Hop Award. Right. So it's
cool.
That was 96 or something like that. So yeah,
he deserves it, man.
yeah. Definitely. So in terms of like new school people, who are you listening to UK wise?
UK wise, I love Hawk House. We were talking about them earlier. I love Hawk House. I'm really like a hip hop guy, so you know, I tend to kind of gravitate, not levitate. Gravitate towards more hip hop guys.
That'd be really impressive. I'm like, wow, like, rap and levitate, you'll make millions. Like,
I want to get into all that.
The nonsense.
yeah. Oh, I like that.
Nice. Oh, we got.
That's nice.
There's his producer right there.
Bars.
We record that one. So Hawk House. I love what Nick Brewer's doing. So that's the kind of people I'm listening to.
Cool. Nice. All right. So, in terms of the name, so like you've mentioned obviously Vanguard, and you've mentioned that it's part of a movement. But you've had, well, to my knowledge, you've had two and one name change basically.
Yeah.
So you were called Navigator before when you were part of, you know, your crew, the 29th chapter.
Yeah.
So from Navigator to Alexander Vanguard. So tell us a little bit about, you know, why you decided to change your name as you kind of ventured out into, you know, a solo career.
Yeah, I guess it's just that thing of like, I mean, I've been in the band for so long.
Yeah.
And when you're in a group, your identity is kind of like bonded with that group.
Yeah.
So coming out of that, you know, I felt like, you know, without going into too much detail, I felt like we hadn't completed what we set out to do. But everybody was, you know, they were done, like having families and stuff, and you know, I had to respect that.
Yeah.
And you know, we all still love each other, still friends, which is great. But I had my identity very firmly formed in that group, and I had to almost, if I was going to continue to do music, I had to get into a place where I just had to find who I was as a solo artist, because you know, I was struggling with even the idea of doing it.
Yeah.
Like Guts and Glory talks a little bit about that idea of like coming back into that. And thinking, do I really want to get back into this? You know, I had a break from music, so it really was about like having a clean break and just starting in a new place and just establishing myself as a solo artist and just having a new perspective and a new identity. So
cool. So why Alexander Vanguard? Why, like, what is the significance? Because it to me, like, when you drop the name Alexander Vanguard, I was like, yo, that just sounds sick. It just sounds like it's just intriguing, isn't it? It's very intriguing, especially if you're an artist. And it's like, a lot of artists these days kind of use like their real name sort of thing, and it sounds like someone's real name. Like, obviously I've got Crash Williams, my surname is Williams, you know what I mean? But like, what is it for you that you kind of gravitated towards that?
Well, Alexander's actually my middle name, so it is a part of my real name.
Sick.
My real name is just too normal, and it sounds like another artist who's not currently doing stuff. He's not a rapper, he's a singer, like a singer-songwriter or something. I was just like, nah. And I think it was just, Alexander means a lot because it's a Greek name which means defender of men. Like, I'm big on names meaning something. So like, Alexander means defender of men, and that means a lot to me. Like, to be able to, I don't know, just defend people and support people. So that's that. And then Vanguard was a word that I actually heard it in a movie. I don't know if you remember The Day the Earth Stood Still. It's like a Keanu Reeves film. And there's a scene where the aliens come and like mash everything up, and then
was Jaden Smith in that as well?
I can't remember.
Or yeah, I think he was. I think he was, and it was good. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even like the film that much, but
Yeah, I thought it was alright.
yeah, it was cool. It was cool. But there was a scene where, the news report just said the aliens were kind of destroyed, whatever, and the news report said they're sending in the Vanguard to clean up the situation.
Right.
So I was like, I really like that word. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and there's a lot of different meanings behind it. One of the meanings is like somebody or the group of people that are at the forefront of a movement. So they will move a movement forward. And then also in the army sense, apparently it's to do with that group of people in the army that actually come in and they clean up a situation, and I like that as well. That means a lot to me. So so just putting those two together, as you said, it kind of fitted together, had a ring to it. I checked it out with a few people that I trust and respect, and they were like, yeah, feels good.
Yeah.
So that's the name, man.
Nice. Cool. So in terms of the music now, let's get to the music. So okay, you've been part of a crew. You guys did a lot of festivals. You had a lot of people that you influenced, in this game, and you had like a very, very strong message. So now on this music, you've been talking like a lot about life, and you're kind of branching out and just kind of thinking, should I do this? Why shouldn't I? Or just kind of questioning yourself a lot in terms of, just still doing the music. So what was the initial kind of conversation when it came to, making this mixtape in particular?
I guess it was a mixture of just wanting to put something out quickly. Like I'd been sitting on my music for about a year and a half, still going in and out of this idea of, should I do this? What's my sound? And actually I met Yashlinn probably about maybe 6 months into that journey. Connected with him through Nas, who's also in the studio. We just hit it off. Like we had the same taste in music, and I knew I was just at a stage where I was like, I need to just put music out, otherwise I'm going to quit this. I'm going to pull back and just lose the drive to do it whatsoever. So we sat together, and Yashlinn was available. You know what I mean? He was just there. He was like, dude, I'm ready when you are. We just got in the studio, and I started telling him what I wanted on the beat, and he was like, dude, I don't really do this. I normally just make the beats and then give them to the artist. I'm like, well, I'm going to sit in and we're going to make this together. And we just started to form a partnership and just put it together, and it came together fairly quickly. Like, so
all things considered.
Just went from there. It was just the need for like getting the music out so that I could start to just get out and start to do music again.
Cool. Nice. So let's talk a little bit about like some of the topics that you touch on. So I know obviously you've mentioned you're a husband. You touch on being a husband kind of in one of your tracks. We're going to play it a little bit later after the interview and stuff. And what is it kind of like in terms of like industry wise and stuff like that, being a husband and having kids? I know a lot of rappers have kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have a kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like in terms of just trying to balance everything in and put in the music and not like bring across the wrong message, how easy or difficult is that for you? Because I mean, obviously, not saying that you necessarily like there's rappers that are lying. There are a lot of rappers that are lying, but at the same time there's rappers that almost bring off a different aspect of what can be reality for others, and if they might feel vulnerable to almost express themselves in such a way that you've done. So how easy or difficult is that for you?
I think it's very easy, to be honest, because it really is. It's like I can only really talk about my life. Do you know what I mean? I can't fabricate like how I live, or I can't do that. I can only talk about who I really am. And it's like if you bump into me on the street, then you're gonna see me with a wife and kids. Do you know what I mean? It's like it would be a shock for me to, be acting like I'm some single guy, who chirps his girls in the club when I really don't do that, and then bump into me on the street and see me with my wife and my kids. I just got to be real. And actually I feel like I feel like I'm really big on family. So for me, family is like an important part of society, like the makeup of society, and it's
definitely.
like I see that family has been broken down a lot in this society. So for me to champion being a husband, you know, particularly as a black man who, you know, people look at as an artist, you become a role model immediately. So like I want to champion being a husband, you know, and present that in a light that it's like, you know what, it's okay to be a husband. Like it's okay to actually talk about your wife. Like, because a lot of people will talk about their kids, but not about their wife.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just think, what is that about? Because again, it just pushes a particular mindset of, you know. Well, I don't want to get too much into that, but it pushes a mindset for me, which is not healthy to supporting the family setup. So
Do you know what's quite interesting? Just to kind of elaborate on what you're saying, is that okay? So hip hop is no longer in its infancy. It's like it's about my age now. What, like 25, maybe a bit older than that. And it's like, it's a situation now where you have a lot of rappers that are almost afraid to be grown. In a sense, obviously the sounds, you kind of have to adapt with the sounds and everything else. But like, I feel like what you've done is kind of like, you know, it's for a maturer hip hop, you know, listener, you know what I mean? For someone such as myself, like, and when I say mature, like I'm still young, you know, you're still young as well, but like, I mean, in terms of what you want out of your listening, like, obviously we do want to have fun, we do, you know, we do want to hear, you know, recklessness, because obviously there is a message even within that at times, you know, within a context, but like, like grown folks music, like hip hop, there's only a selected few artists that do that, and it's cool. But like, you know, where do you draw your inspirations from when you're writing? Like, I mean, obviously we've spoken about, you know, your wife and your kids, but like, where else? Like, where can you do it as someone who is, you know, like an everyman type of rapper? Where do you do it?
It's just a case of just looking at life, man. Like, just whatever I see, you know. And it's like, I feel like I often have a thought about everything that I see. So it's just about, you know, I tend to just write down ideas or record ideas on my phone, and, you know, when I see something, I'm like, that's interesting. I'd love to talk about that. Or, you know, when I see situations in society, when I see things, when I have experiences in my own family situation, or struggles that I'm going through, things that I'm dealing with in my life, I draw from all of that stuff. So it's whatever, whatever's around me, whatever I'm seeing, and whatever I feel like I can comment on. So
Cool. And okay, so you've spoken about like your chemistry, and, you know, in terms of the production and stuff like that, but a lot of mixtapes out now, they just use other people's beats, and I know that was a thing for you, you know, you kind of didn't want to do that. So literally, when I've been mentioning your mixtape, it's hard to almost call it a mixtape because it's really the quality is just, it's so big, you know. You're big on quality and everything else, but why did you not go down the route of, you know, quick turnaround and, you know what, let me just kill this beat? Like, what was the decision behind that?
It was a mixture of things. I actually recorded a whole mixtape, like, over just beats that I liked and whatnot. And at the time, I was working with a friend who was kind of, you know, just advising me and doing some stuff. And he was just like, look, to be honest, it's not really legal to just rap over people's beats and record them, even if like you put it out for free. And I was like, serious? I didn't even know that. So he was just like, why don't you just make your own beats? And at the time, I hadn't met Yashlinn, so I was kind of like, well, that's going to be long, and I just want to put this thing out. But I really took on what he said, because for me, integrity is a very important thing. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. Let me, figure out how I'm going to do this. And then meeting Yashlinn, it was just a case of, man, this guy is here and he's hungry to make beats because he had no artist to make beats for.
Yeah,
so he was
yeah.
like, dude, you know, let's work together and put stuff together. And we seemed to just gel so quickly, and the beats just seemed to be coming. And I had a couple of other guys who had given me some beats. And like Nas was there. He was just like, dude, I've got some beats sitting on my hard drive. Just take your pick. So it kind of just seemed to come together quickly. And actually, the beats I was getting, they were authentic. They were fresh. They almost brought something different out of me than from what I'd rapped over a lot of the other stuff. So it was just a case of like, man, let me just write to this and see what comes. So
Cool. Well, we're gonna continue with this conversation, and we are back. Yeah, you just heard Baby, produced by Nas Abraham, Alexander Vanguard on the vocals, of course. Ah, man, I love what that Baby. That's like a really soulful sample there. I don't know where it's from, but you know where it's like.
You have to ask Nas, man.
yeah, that sounds familiar. Where is that? Step to the mic, bro.
That was Luther Vandross track. I heard it. I heard it on YouTube. It was basically he was doing a live version, I think, of his song Superstar.
Okay.
I was listening to it and I was like, you know what, this guy's got something about his voice, and that there was that one particular section that I felt I had to cut up.
Yeah.
A sample. Threw just a heavy beat over the top of it, and it just made sense. Really.
Nice. It's like. It's the production, like the drums, the drums is like 2015, but the way you kind of cut the vocal just reminds me of like early 2000s. You know what I mean? It reminds me of that like college dropout type vibe. Oh man, it's sick. No, I'm not even gassing. It's it's sick, man. It's sick. It's like that. Well, actually, no. Chipmunk Soul is kind of like with the high kind of pitched up, but you pitched it down, so nice, like that, man. Yo, okay, so obviously we've been talking a lot about content and everything else. Now, I know that you are Christian, and your faith is really important to you in terms of just the way you carry yourself. It's not like you're necessarily being preachy within your music. That's not really what you're about, but you are a man of God, and that's you do that by the way you carry yourself. But in terms of this life music, was there any temptations in terms of, oh well, do you know what, like I'm a solo artist now, and like I've been doing this a long time and I kind of need to connect. Was there struggles with that? And I mean, not necessarily compromising your faith, but compromising your message. Was that a difficulty at all at any point?
Nah, again, not at all, man. I think for me it's just my beliefs are so ingrained in me and just in who I am as a person that it's like my music is just an extension of how I live my life. So it's just about being real. Like for me, it's always about just being real. And I think I've got enough scope in like the way I see life. Through like a biblical worldview to be able to address whatever, from my perspective. So, and I just feel like, my tagline is so refreshing, and I just feel like, to be able to just bring a different perspective, particularly in rap and in hip hop, like is so, it's just needed, because, I'm not really hearing anything other than a particular type of content. So for me, it's just like, just being myself, I feel like is going to be refreshing for the industry. So, not everybody will like it. That's cool. Not everybody will feel it. And some people may feel like, nah, this is not for me. And that's cool. That's fine.
Is what it is, man. Keep it moving. Yeah. All right. So what's the biggest misconception of yourself as an artist? Like when you talk to people, or when you introduce people to your music, what might be a big misconception of that, or who you are?
What you mean, from people's perspective or from my perspective?
No, from their perspective, from people's perspective, like.
Dude, I have no idea. Like, I mean, to be honest, I have no idea how any of this music would be received. Do you know what I mean? I almost feel like I just wanted to make music that I would enjoy listening to.
Yeah.
And that, anybody who likes it will like it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I have no idea how it will be perceived. I have no idea how I'm perceived. You know? So, dude, I have no idea. That's a really difficult question.
All right, so like, okay, fine. I'll rephrase it. So, what do you feel makes you like really like vulnerable when it comes to, you know, your music, like critical in a sense of yourself? When it comes to just making music.
Okay.
What do you kind of like scratch your head about, or you're like, oh man, but is this a I don't know. You know, just kind of in an R-in. Do you ever get points like that?
Yeah, I guess maybe going back to what you were saying before about compromising.
Yeah.
Is just the sense of like how far I can push.
Yeah.
You know, my bars in terms of, you know, for example, like being boastful. Like rap is very boastful and very, you know, egocentric and boasting about yourself. And I like wordplay. I like messing about, and sometimes I like just having fun and just dropping those kind of verses. You know, sometimes I feel like, oh, you know, is that too much? Like, am I talking about myself too much? Because I don't want a whole bunch of music that I put out, you know, to be just like all about me and how great I am. You know, I feel like that's probably one of the things that I probably wrestle with a lot. It's like, is that too much? You know, should I pull that back a little bit?
Cool.
So, yeah. All
right. Yeah, no. That's fair. I think a lot of people can kind of relate to that. Yashlinn.
Yep.
So, obviously, you're not originally from the UK.
No.
Nah, you're from where?
I'm from a town called Durban in South Africa. It's on the east coast of South Africa.
Sick. And what is the sounds like in terms of, you know, what is Durban music? Urban Durban music.
I've been out of the country for a while, for about 7 years.
Yeah.
But I've been going back and forth because I still have my family is there, basically.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what. Right now, there's a really big sort of hip hop scene, and the whole trap scene from the States has filtered down into South Africa.
Yeah.
But there was a particular genre in the 90s called Kwaito.
Yeah.
Which was sort of a very urbanized, sort of hip hop-esque kind of genre.
Yeah. Which
combined like the local sort of like pop music and that sort of thing, and that's filtered through into today's music.
Okay.
Into like the sort of it has an influence on the trap and hip hop sound today.
Yeah.
And that's the Kwaito is actually one of the genres that really influenced my sound.
Cool.
If anybody's listening to it, and if they are South African, they might pick it up, especially on Guts, Guts and Glory towards the end. It was a little homage to that genre that I sort of paid.
I like the way you changed the key, like that key change. It's almost like a bridge, and it goes doing it. Man, mate, that is just as a fan of like, you know, sonically pleasing music. Yeah, it's just it's nice, man. You don't hear that enough.
I did that purposely, because you always find in hip hop, sometimes things can be very linear. I wanted to take it away, and that Stevie Wonder's been like a very big influence musically for me, because I play piano and I'm big on instruments, so that was his influence in a sense. That bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So, here's a big question for you. When you decided to make the move to the UK, and you're branching out looking for artists, you're a hungry producer, and I know you sing as well. You've sung on the mixtape as well. What was it like? Was it a culture shock musically for you when you started working with Alexander Vanguard?
Not really, because we have the same taste in music. We really do.
Okay, yeah.
We really do, because I'll tell you what, he was the one guy that kind of listened to the same stuff I did, because I would just think to myself, I mentioned songs to people and nobody would know it. I used to think, maybe maybe I'm just weird. And then I'd mention a song to him one day, and he was like, of course I know that song.
Yeah.
Of course I know this. And I was like really excited, and that's kind of what sparked off the whole the production journey as well. Yeah.
So you kind of like developed a friendship, you know, from your kind of your love of 90s era music, basically.
Yeah, I mean, not even just 90s, it goes further back than that. Like, I used to listen to a lot of Fred Hammond, Commission, the Winans, Andre Crouch. I started off playing keyboards in church, so there's a lot of that in the music. Yeah. And then obviously the golden era, Wu-Tang and Tribe and De La Soul and all of that.
Most definitely. Cool. Sick. All right, so if you could pretty much, I'm going to ask you both this, if you could pretty much sum up the tape and why people would listen to it, drop us an elevator pitch, man. So, Yashlinn, if you want to go first.
I would say if you want to listen to something different, that's different to the current stream of hip hop, in particular, this is what you need to listen to.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Alexander Vanguard.
Are you tired of the same old music being played every day on the radio? Except for Westside UK Full Stop.
Yes. Don't know.
Well, check out Alexander Vanguard, Call of the Wild. It's just so refreshing, man. So refreshing.
This is UK Full Stop, playing the greatest to the latest in UK urban culture. Thursdays, 10 p.m. to midnight on Westside Radio.